Hey guys, it's Kevin here. Today we're talking about the latest frontier in crypto, which is called decentralized finance, or DeFi. We're going to talk about what DeFi is, different risk factors you should be aware of, different ways of generating returns, and how you can invest in the space. Why should you listen to me? Well, I'm actively involved in my day job in developing a DeFi product, which just raised more than $6 million, and I've been through multiple investment cycles in crypto. So keep watching to find out more. Like I said before at the beginning of the video, DeFi stands for decentralized finance, and it's a term that covers any platform that utilizes blockchain technology to create permissionless financial product. If you need a refresher on what crypto is or don't really have any background in it, you can look at one of my previous videos where I cover the basics around Bitcoin and Ethereum. So traditionally, your money is centralized. So your bank account and your money, along with millions of other people's money, is all controlled by these centralized banking entities. And even though electronic payments are a thing now, it still takes days for your money to go from your bank account to someone else's bank account. And sometimes you might even lose access to your money because of IT issues or, say, an overzealous fraud system. If you've ever used PayPal to accept payments, you've probably been a victim of their very aggressive fraud algorithm. At the end of the day, really, it doesn't feel like you're in control of your own money. Now imagine you can make transfers from your account into an investment product in less than a minute. There are no wiring fees to place your money into escrow. There's no contracts to sign, no approval needed from any sort of centralized entity, and all of your gains are automatically dispersed back into your account at the right time. That's total control over your account. And really, that's what DeFi enables. Now, most DeFi is concentrated on the Ethereum blockchain because that's the first protocol that really enabled people to create these permissionless apps. That is, applications that allowed people to use any of the functionality without seeking authorization. 5 major categories that currently exist in terms of product types within the DeFi space. The first one is a lending and borrowing protocol. So this is you lending out your tokens to earn interest, or someone borrowing tokens to increase their leverage, either in speculation that the price of that token will go up over time, or that they can go use that to yield farm or do other things with those tokens. Currently, you can earn somewhere around 10% a year by lending out your tokens on a protocol like Compound or Aave. So the second type of financial product in DeFi is derivatives. So this covers futures and options as well as synthetic assets. Futures and options act exactly like their real-world counterparts. They're high-risk, high-return assets, and kind of the only difference being that you're paying for the crypto version in stable coins, whereas in the real world you might be using fiat currency. Synthetic assets, on the other hand, mimic kind of a real world asset like oil or gold or even stocks. There's definitely this overlap between, say, your Tesla hypebeast and your crypto evangelist, and the combination of that might be a Tesla synthetic asset that mimics the price of Tesla, except just denominated in crypto. The third financial product that we're going to talk about in DeFi is automated market makers. So if you want to exchange or trade your cryptocurrency for a different one, you can do that without needing a middleman to facilitate the transaction. An automated market maker like Uniswap or Curve will facilitate the transaction by automatically calculating the right exchange price based on the liquidity and demand for those products. And as an investor, you can provide liquidity to these protocols and earn anywhere from 5 to 20% per year just doing that. Stablecoins are another type of DeFi product. These are usually intended to have a stable fiat price, usually pegged to the US dollar, and they have various means to ensure that their price is stable. But typically the way it works is you have a collateralization of either fiat or other cryptocurrencies that are used as the currency reserve, much like gold used to be used as the US dollar's currency reserve. USDT, DAI, USDC are different stablecoins that are pretty popular and pretty widely used. And more recently, there are other stablecoins like OUSD, which have actually started to generate interest. And so you can just actually, as an investor, hold OUSD as a stablecoin and still earn returns on it. DeFi product is insurance. So DeFi insurance usually covers smart contract or protocol risk. So basically, if a protocol gets hacked or the smart contract has bugs in it, that get exploited, then that's kind of where these insurance programs come into play. And so as an investor, you can really just earn money by providing insurance. You can be the underwriter effectively. And while there are no platforms really that currently call out their APYs, I think Nexus Mutual is one player in the DeFi insurance space to watch out for here. So outside of the 5 categories of DeFi products I mentioned earlier, there's actually one more way of earning yield in DeFi, and it's actually the highest yielding one. It's called yield farming. Yield farming is basically the act of locking up your cryptocurrency to earn more cryptocurrency as a reward. So remember the automated market makers we were just talking about? One way to yield farm is to lock up your cryptocurrency to serve as liquidity in these market makers. And as a reward, you'll get the fees generated from people making those trades on that market maker. Some protocols will also offer governance token rewards, which gives the investors a say in how the protocol performs and the direction it heads. These governance tokens also have some monetary value, so you now have multiple income streams coming in from one investment. One example of yield farming would be depositing your USDC into the Compound protocol, which was the lending borrowing platform we talked about previously, and getting CUSDC in return, which represents your share of USDC in the Compound protocol, hence the C next to the USDC. Now, taking that one step further, you could then utilize and stake down your CUSDC as collateral to borrow more USDC. Now, why would you want to do this, right? Because borrowing is more expensive than lending. The reason is because as a borrower, you get rewarded with Compound tokens, which is the governance token of the Compound protocol. And so, at current rates, Compound is giving away 2,880 comp tokens every day, which is $620,000 of free money effectively. And so as long as the difference between the lending and borrowing rate is less than the return that you get from the Compound governance token, then it makes sense to continue to borrow. And so rather than just getting, say, the 8% lending rate on Compound for depositing USDC, you can now effectively boost your returns to, say, 15 or 20% by using this kind of tiered yield farming strategy. So that's a little bit complicated, right? Well, it can actually get even more complicated. So this concept of yield farming is not limited to just a single protocol. Oftentimes, you can layer the rewards and incentives across multiple protocols to boost your rewards even higher. So you could take the reward tokens from one protocol, stake them down into a second protocol, take the rewards from that second protocol, and then stake them down into a third protocol, and then get rewards from that third protocol, thereby boosting your rewards across multiple different protocols. That's the name of the game these days. For example, you can deposit your comp tokens into a balancer pool. A balancer is another protocol, and earn swapping fees, which are currently about 2.7%, as well as balancer governance tokens as a reward. Then you can stake those balancer governance tokens back into another balancer pool to earn even more returns. So rather than just earning, let's say, that 8% from Compound, now you've boosted your overall return across just 2 protocols to 15 to 20%. But if you're interested in crypto, you're likely not interested in 15 to 20% returns a year. You're interested in those big numbers, right? So if we look at the top yielding farming pools on CoinGecko, you'll see that the top one right now returns 10,000%. 10,000%. And that's basis gold. And there's 130 other strategies or pools right now that are returning over 100% a year, which is, I think, crazy, right? Yield farming is a high risk, high reward venture. And, crypto moves at lightning speed. So even if something was returning 50% last week, it might be 5% this week. I mean, 2 weeks ago when I initially wrote this, the top yielding strategy was empty set dollar at 3,000% APY. And this week they're nowhere to be seen on the top APY list. Protocols die out all the time as new reward incentives are launched, new protocols are launched, and people withdraw their liquidity and their assets from one protocol and shift them to another. And that's just kind of how the space works. It's hype on hype, and old hype dies out. From the time I record this to the time I publish it, it's likely that the top yielding strategies will have changed by then. This quick shifts in terms of popularity also lead to another risk in DeFi, which is price volatility. I remember when I was first farming SushiSwap, another protocol token, I was losing money because the price of SushiSwap token was dropping faster than I was earning yield on it. And that's just another risk that you should be cognizant of. But the biggest risk that everyone should be aware of when it comes to DeFi is smart contract risk. Because everything from the logic for how to exchange and trade tokens to how many rewards to generate and who to give them to is controlled by smart contract logic. When you have hundreds of millions of dollars locked in a single protocol, there's these huge incentives to find exploits. And exploits happen all the time, from the $24 million lost on Harvest Finance to the $20 million lost on Pickle Finance, and just last month, Warp Finance lost $8 million. So, it's not an infrequent occurrence, despite the fact that many of these smart contracts are audited by reputable third-party security firms. The risk is still out there. All this being said, if you can pick the right protocols to mine, you can earn pretty high returns relatively quickly in crypto. And I think, on a risk-adjusted basis, this offers a better alternative to just waiting for appreciation on your tokens. For me, I've got my crypto earning probably about 75% a year right now, using various different yield strategies. DeFi is a rapidly growing and rapidly evolving space. I'm a long-term believer in the potential of DeFi, but really, a lot of these platforms have to clean up and improve their user experiences before they're going to be able to attract any sort of new users. If you want me to cover any of the DeFi platforms in detail or go over a video about how I yield farm, leave a comment down below. If you took away any insights, then hit the like button and hit the subscribe button to continue supporting the channel. I appreciate all the support as usual, and I'll see you in the next video.